And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the last month of the year. But before I get started, a message of gratitude. Anybody that sent me a message, sent me a video, saying to me, if she's on the call today, thank you. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And my mom called me. She's like, son, I'm so touched by like how many people think that you're cool. I'm like, well, I love you, mom. I was like, as long as you think I'm cool, that's all that matters. But you know, it's just a time for you to look around I'm in a very fortunate and grateful position to be able to do what I do in this world and to be able to be in your lives, and you guys are in my lives. And I feel like 43 was a true year of growth for me. And it was probably one of my best like career years. And I'm not even saying it was my best monetary years, but what I learned, how I grew, how the community grew, how I emotionally got more intelligent over the last year. It's just tons to be grateful for. So I just want to say thank you guys for all the well wishes. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Thank you for the singing and everything else that I received yesterday. So speaking about singing, I'm going to have that person take us out on the field. And then if you're a guest here at Keep It Moving Group Coaching, we always have somebody bring us out on the field in true fast form. So I'm going to go to Maria, my singing gram person from yesterday, and I'm going to go right over to you. So Maria, bring the team out on the field on this beautiful Friday morning.
Well, good morning, Team Fast. Well, I'm super excited. December is not only a time of celebration, time to get together with family, a time to just bless people with presents, but more importantly, with your presence. And of course, it's my birthday month, so woo woo. So my message to you today is, as we begin the 12 activities of Christmas, and you should have received your email and or text, today's first assignment is 25 one-to-one videos / text. That is your present to the people around you. So my suggestion is to go out and send some love to people that maybe you haven't heard from in a long time, or people that have been on your heart. Send a video or send a text to those that you love, that you want to touch base with, that you want to have some kumbaya with. That's my message for today. And as we kick off the month of December.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate that. So you guys, for every non-team member on this call today, we're going to hook you up with some free game today. Take this and do it your own way. So what we're doing for the first 12 days of November is we are launching a 12 days of December activity calendar. Now, we're going to actually have more of this conversation in just a moment. And Greg knows a little bit about this because we talked about it yesterday, but it's in full swing. So if you're on the team, you guys got a text message this morning and it said 12 days of December, day 1, spread the joy, the challenge, send 25 one-on-one videos or text messages to your database, SOI, and clients. It's really easy. And so there's going to be something for the next 12 days. We're going to get into that in a moment, because even if you're not on the team, whether you're a lender, whether you're title, whether you're in another state, I don't really care. The point is this. We have an opportunity right now in December to truly, truly reach out in a very human way and really make sure that all of our activities are heightened for the next 12 days. Because I get it. After the next 12 days, you might be doing some traveling. You might be settling in. You might be just getting, I get that. I want to respect that time for you and your family. But I feel for the next 12 days, we should be running full tilt. And so we're going to get more into that conversation in just a minute. So Maria, thank you for that. If you are on the team, make sure to check your phone and just follow through on that. Because oftentimes we're searching for like, what do I do today? Well, I'm going to give you the answers for the next 12 days on what to do. All you have to do is just go ahead and take that action. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens from that. So let's do this, you guys. I want to share some thoughts with you. And before I do that, in my Play Bigger group, we all agreed to something. I figured with my Keep It Moving group, I want to get an agreement from all of you guys. Let me ask a question. It might be a rhetorical question, but I don't know. I'm humble enough to ask this question. For the people that are on this call today, do you guys trust me? Give me a thumbs up. Give me some love, whatever. And if you don't trust me, that's okay as well. You could put a emoji on the screen or a thumbs down if you don't trust me, because maybe I haven't done my job yet. And that's okay. And I respect that, right? I want to be able to earn your trust in life and business. That's what I want to do. So if you trust me, if you believe in anything that I've told you or shared with you along the way, or any things that we've talked about in this environment, I just want you to trust me a little bit more. And here's why. When we have talked about ideas, when I've shared thoughts, when I've given you strategies, take action on these things. the people that have truly harnessed that and put it into play in their business, I can look back as a body of proof and be like, damn, look at all the things that they've created. Now, I don't have all the answers, but what I have had is I've had a lab of all of you beautiful people that have filled my cup, that have given me data. The data gives me results, gives me answers, it gives me strategies, it gives me lessons that I then can share with the masses and continue and continue and continue that. So if you guys trust me, I'm going to ask you just to trust me a little bit more. Here's what I want to do, and I want to do this for the next 2 months. Now, you don't have to read the book if you don't want. If you want to listen to the Audible, then listen to the Audible. Whatever serves you, I don't really care. Just do the work. I want everyone to purchase this book. I want you to go to Amazon right now. I want you to purchase this book. I want you to go to your Audible right now. I want you to put that on your phone, and I want us as a collective to read this book. I'm obviously a part of the Play Bigger mastermind and a part of that coaching environment, which some of you are in that as well. So I appreciate that. We're going to read that, and I figure we should read that here. So then there's just this continuity about this subject. And here's why this is so important. This book will teach you the most important things for you to be able to do that are going to 10x your business. Now, let's remove the novelty of 10x. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of public speakers want to throw around that term loosely. But I promise you, if you just read this book, and I'm literally in chapter 3 right now. But let me ask, has anybody read this book thus far? Okay, cool. So it was new to me. It was new to me. The author of Gap and Gain also wrote this book. Okay, so maybe you've read The Gap and the Gain. So this book right here is absolutely going to give you clarity and it's going to give you more clarity than what you already should have, and make sure that you are truly operating within your purpose. And I'm going to give you one example, and hopefully I don't drop the ball on this one. So the book opens up and it starts talking about Michelangelo. Now, it's safe to say that everybody on this call knows who Michelangelo is, or knows some type of Michelangelo's work, whether it was the statue of David, whether it's the statue of Hercules, whether it's the Sistine Chapel. I'm sure everyone on this call knows who Michelangelo is. Well, when Michelangelo was first commissioned to do a project, he was commissioned to create a sculpture of Hercules. And at that time, there was other sculptors, there was other people doing work, similar, but he wanted to be the very, very best and understand anatomy, like anatomy had never been studied by an artist prior to him. And so I don't want to get too weird on you guys. I'll let you guys read this book, but here's what he did. He tried to find ways to steal bodies so he could have his own cadaver, all right, stay with me for a minute, so he can study the anatomy of people. So when he was doing his sculptures, that he understood how every single muscle worked, that if I stretch this, and if you look at the back of the sculpture, that means that there was parts of the back that were flexed and the muscles were flexed. And so he wanted to understand anatomy at the highest level. So he would go sneak into the morgue. He would be there at night. He would study tendons. He would study the body. He would study the limbs. He would study the skin. He would study the depths from like here to here, every single thing that you could possibly imagine. Now stay with me. There's a point here. He would study it to the point that when he did the sculptures, when he did Hercules, when he eventually did David, when he did the Sistine Chapel, which he got paid more than he had ever been paid for any project that he had priorly done, he understood that him going 10x early on, understanding it at the very highest level, was going to allow all the bodies of work that he did in the future to be based on that 10x rule, meaning that it's not that it got easier, but in a sense, it was easier for him because he dove so far into that work, mastering that craft, understanding it. So when you looked at that sculpture, like, wow, he got the vein, the eyes, the looks, the expression, the feeling, like I can capture the emotion, all from sculpting or all from painting. But what he did is he studied so hard and he 10x'd before he even embarked on this endeavor, because what he wanted to be is he wanted to be the best ever. And so I correlate that, and always looking for a correlation with that and with you guys. Anything that I read, what is the correlation, right? The lessons, what is the correlation? And I look at it as, how can you guys 10x everything that you're doing right now? in order for you to be the very best, in order for you to walk into a listing presentation, and your listing presentation is a cut above every other person that sat at that table, that brought 72 pages of shit that we would love to think about it, right? That happens every fucking day in this business. So what you need to ask yourself is, how am I right now in my business 10xing? I don't want to hear, well, I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at social media. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at my presentation. I'm not good at my listing presentation. I'm not good at running at comps. Well, then ask yourself, how much time are you spending doing those things that are going to make you excellent when you're in front of a consumer? How many of you people on this call right now strive for excellence in this game? So then you have to ask yourself the other question: does your practice speak to that excellence? Or are you just saying that you want excellence, but when you look at your practice and what you're 10xing, those things don't match? So here's the thing, you guys. As we move into 2024, with all the things going on, let's call that the noise, the ruckus, the chatter, whatever we're calling that in the business, all that you guys need to do, all that you need to do is worry about, how can I outplay and be better than the person next to me in this game, right? How can I be better than that person? What can I do that's going to express the highest level of value, and how am I going to compete? And here's how you're going to do it, is you guys are going to 10x everything that you're doing in your business. To think of how obsessed and how weird that was of Michelangelo to want to go and dissect cadavers so he was a better sculptor. Right? Like, it is mind-blowing, right? And you guys, when something hits for me, something hits for me. So to go back to this, I want us all to read this book, and I want us to all be on the same page. I want us to really think about how we're going to 10x our life and really get in alignment with purpose. Because one of the things that was cool about the book is, he said when he was creating the sculpture of David, which is renowned to be one of the best sculptures of all time, the Pope asked him, because the Pope had commissioned him to do that project. The Pope asked him, like, how are you so successful? And he said, it is really, really simple. When I'm working on this project, that's all that I see. Nothing else exists. It's not all the minor stuff. It's not all the small stuff. I'm not worrying about all the details. Why? Because I have already done all of that. So when I'm in the moment, when I'm in the game, when I'm in the trenches, if we're speaking about it in regards to real estate terms, I'm ready. I know. So he did all of that 10x work. So when he was commissioned, he said, why am I so good at this? Because David is all that I see right now. And I just want you to stay there for a minute. David is all that I see. And so all of the other things about, oh my God, is this right? Is this detail right? No, he knew that if David was sitting like this, there was a crease in his leg muscle. There was a crease here that was holding him up. There was a little bend in his cheek that expressed. He knew, based on how his eyes are going to be sculpted, if he was going to have a look of resound, of resilience, of fear, of trepidation. He already knew that. He already knew that because he understood the anatomy of the human body, and he had studied it so much that when in the moment, all he saw was David. And I want you guys to think about this at the highest level. Now, you guys, am I fired up? Absolutely. I'm just excited for life right now. But I wanted to share that sentiment with you. Based on just sharing that, are you guys down to read this book with me? You guys down to read this book with me? All right. Based on that thought, can anybody contribute a thought? Anybody have something to say? Anything's provoked in you that you are feeling right now? Can somebody just grab the mic, continue this conversation, so I don't feel like I'm a fucking weirdo talking about dead bodies? Can somebody else get involved in this conversation? I saw Blessing. I would love to get 3 other people. I just want to know where your mind's at, where your head's at, based on what I just shared with you. Let's go, Blessing.
So you're definitely not crazy about the study of cadavers. I'm an art history major. The moment you started talking about it, I understood. So he had to do something that was so contrary to what everyone else was doing so that he could master it. Even the sculpture of David was so controversial because it was commissioned by the Pope, but it was a nude. So it was like, it was so far beyond what they expected, but just became this thing of beauty. As you were talking about going deep, I remember in my last position, and I keep going back to a time when I was successful to try to recreate it. the company that I worked for, when I first got there, I put my head down so far in the business and try to learn everything that people thought that I didn't like know how to talk. Like I didn't socialize with anyone. I'm thinking about even when I was in college, I didn't go there to make friends. I went there to try to understand, what I was there to learn. Now, did that work out for me? I would probably go back and redo some of it. But when I look at how much knowledge that I was able to take in, I literally became the subject matter expert on our entire division within 4 months of being there because I knew everything. Like when you dig so far deep into it, you see problems and you see solutions before the problems come up. So when someone brings it to you, you're like, yeah, you need to go to this person, and this person, but don't ask them this way because they're a little finicky here. But go here, you're able to just see literally like the matrix appears in front of you and you can just pull all the information together. So the deeper you go, it just makes everything so much clearer, so much stronger too. So this is I'm excited to start this book.
So let me pause you for a quick second. I want to go back to the first 7 words that you said when you started speaking, when you were successful. I need you to dismantle those words. I literally, I need to dismantle. So like, I don't know, for the people that have been on these calls that have had any interaction with Blessing, like you are a success in my eyes. You're a success in many people on this call's eyes. You're a success in your son's eyes and your family's eyes and the things that you're doing. What you're on right now is you're on a journey. And what happens is that oftentimes we do a lot of work and we're not able to see exactly what it is that we're actually working towards. We don't see it just yet, but we know we're at least heading in the right direction. So you got to allow room for grace, but you have to also know how successful you already are. Everything that you're doing is aligned with this purpose, this clarity. And so allow yourself to have that grace and know that I might not see it today, but man, all of a sudden, someone calls you and then another person calls you. And I'll give you a great example of this. I know an agent that was door knocking in the South Bay yesterday, knocked on a person's door like, oh no, but hey, can you keep an eye out? The lady's crying. Can you keep an eye out for my cat? I lost my cat. Okay. And she was crying. She showed her pictures. So this agent did her door knocking, found the cat. Okay. Found the cat, went back to the lady. And then the lady looked at her flyer and like, oh my God, wait, I know that listing agent. I did their brain surgery last year. And it was like, what? Like this instant, like weird, crazy story. Like what? I did his brain surgery last week because he had a tumor. He made it, fortunately. But then she said, you know what? The fact that you went above and beyond, you found my cat. She's like, I'm a surgeon, and every single doctor and every single person and everybody that is in my medical world, I'm going to send them to you and I'm going to give you all those referrals. So it's like, we don't know how far we're actually getting sometimes. And Blessing, you're on a path, you're on a journey. And listen, I'm going to be real as penitentiary steel. In the last 2 years, I have experienced more success than I probably had in the prior 5. In the prior 5, so it's like, hey, we're all on this journey together. So I love it. I know you're a art major. I want to have more of that conversation in the future, but love it. And I'm glad that you correlate that and that messaging makes sense to you. Let's hear from 2 other people. Get involved in this conversation. Or did you have something else?
Before you move on real quick, thank you for correcting the word because it is something that I am on a journey of changing. You for not allowing me to sink back. So thank you.
Hey, listen, I have a responsibility to each of you. It's my opportunity and it's my responsibility to see the optimal you, even when the optimal you is hard for you to see. That's my job. That's my responsibility. It's my responsibility. Okay. And I believe that more so than ever. And I just was able to articulate that a couple of weeks back. So stay with me on that. Shit's still developing. But I want to hear from 2 other people. 2 other people get involved in this conversation, and then we're going to shift gears. Ashley, I knew it. And listen, if you don't talk much, put your fucking hand up. Let's get involved because we always have our usual suspects. Let's get involved. Ashley.
Hey, so when Blessing said they thought I didn't talk, it kind of sparked something for me. When I started at the bank, I had been a makeup artist before that. I had knocked on doors and sold security systems, but at the bank I had no experience. And they thought I didn't talk because I had read a lot of books, but I had no actual experience. And so I would just go into their policies and procedures and I would study it. I would listen to the person next to me and I would study how they said it, the way that they said it, how they tracked their leads, the way that what was working for them. I'd look for the best people that were the most productive and had the best customer service points. And I would study that person. I would call people on lists in different states even and say, hey, how are you doing this? But the people around me thought I didn't talk because I was so ingrained in just learning. And then when I was ready, just hit the ground running. I got promoted in a year from a banker to an assistant manager. I got promoted to a branch manager a year after that. They just kept putting me in bigger and bigger and bigger branches until I was managing Pleasant Hill, Maine, which is the biggest branch in the market. And so it all started because I had that, like you said, this matrix of knowledge that I had formulated the first year that I was there. And then any step that I took in the direction I was going, I would just pull from that little matrix. And I kept learning every day. I'm still learning every day. I'm reading as many books as I can.
Love it. I absolutely love it, you guys. Like that really hit. I just heard that and listened to that and read that this morning. So, and here's a little food for thought for you guys. We're all different types of learners, audio or auditory learners, visual learners, or kinesthetic learners. We attach things to how they feel. My recommendation to you guys, if you're not much of a reader, I would read it and I would also listen to it. Right. So read it and then listen to it when you're driving. Be like, okay, I read chapter 1. I got a 50-minute drive. I'm going to listen to chapter 1. Now your brain is connecting with it on 2 different levels. And that's been working for me. I love to read, but sometimes there's a lot of distractions and there's noise. And then I go and listen to it. Then I'm like, now it puts the pieces together for comprehension on a completely different level. So good stuff. Let's hear from one other person. Lizette, Taylor, Joellen, Vernon. I don't know. I'm just looking at names. All right. So let's go Joellen. Let's go Christina, and anybody else who wants to get involved. And then I got some stuff for you guys.
Yeah, I just love this. Like, just study it, be obsessed about it, and then just take action and just better yourself, better your listing presentation, whatever it is, speaking with people. You know, in our industry, we could think just because we don't have a new deal every month that we're lacking, that we're not good enough because, oh, I don't have a deal this month. I must not be good enough. And then all of a sudden it's right there in front of your face, but you cannot have that mindset that you need to have it every single 5 seconds because you've had it. You know what I mean? It becomes an addiction, an obsession. Like you start obsessing over it. So if you're doing it in a positive way, like, oh, it's coming, you know, I'm like super proud of myself with what I'm doing with my seniors. I got an $848,000 listing here in El Dorado Hills, my first one in El Dorado Hills. So I've been like so excited, like I could cry right now. A senior couple, she's going through cancer. They're moving to an assisted living company. Facility. I brought in the movers, the senior movers. I brought in everything. I'm going to do my garage sale. You know, one of the senior movers were like, oh, you have that really cool little listing box. I like yours. Like, so my presentation is like, I'm here for you. I'm not going to put the sign in the yard and walk away. I'm here through the whole transition. And when you get to assisted living, I will help you even after that.
God, like I absolutely love it. Congratulations. But look at this. This is a really clear indication of like a Michelangelo experience. When you think about the study and the research behind the senior community and what goes into that, right? She's spent so much time over the last year and a half really understanding that market. And now when she markets to those people, they don't question if she is, they understand that she is creating a David for their life. And that's what she's done effectively, right? And so it all goes back to like, how much of this am I actually studying and focusing? I know people that work solely with athletes. They understand what the athletes need. They understand what type of behaviors they have. They understand what type of homes they're buying. They understand like the longevity, all the things, right? So they have a really clear understanding of that, you know, that industry or whatever endeavor. So I love this for you, Joellen. Good stuff. Let's go to Christina, and then we're going to shift gears on the conversation.
Yeah, I'm really excited to read this book because I think it's one thing that we all talk about, you know, we work hard, we grind, but then sometimes you don't see the results. And I really want to see how I can look in my business to see where I can maximize getting those results. Yes, I love to work. We're all kind of like workaholics if we're in this business. But then where can I capitalize on that and not always feel like I'm going to get burnout? So that's something like internally I've been trying to work on because I feel like we can't easily get burnt out. And then I want to touch on what Joellen said. It's so true where we get like, I even get like this, like you'll have a great month and it's like a high and you just like, you want that all the time, which I like because it's a good keep yourself more accountable in that way. And it's like, all right, like, what am I doing now? Because I need to make sure I'm hitting the same goals that I had next month. So it's cool, but it's also good to take a step back and say, okay, now we're here in December. Like, look what I've done so far. And if I were to look back and think January of this year, and you think, all right, how am I going to make this work? Here we are. And I try to, one thing I would want to share is I try to take every month, like, all right, here we are this month. What are we doing this month? And you take those baby steps, and then you could sit back now and say, okay, here we are, the first of the month of December. And what have I done this year? And what has worked to allow me to achieve all of my goals that I had since January? So I'm really excited about this book. I'm going to send it to my team at the mini store. I'm like, we're all doing this challenge together, because this will be really fun to just like share what we've all learned from it.
Yeah, let's dive right in, you guys. So there's something that I heard the other day that I thought it was really, really important. And, it's in direct correlation to this conversation. I need everyone on this call to really nail their modalities. And I was thinking, when I heard it, I was like, nail my modalities. And so I looked at it, I was like, okay, modality refers to ways language can express various relationships to reality or truth. So when we think about our modalities in our business, right? Not everybody is going to see your videos. Not everybody is going to get your newsletter. Not every single person is going to come to your open house. But what you do is you become a master, and that you nail all of your modalities, meaning that, hey, like, I might not win all of my business from my social media content. That's okay. My newsletter is on fire. My community involvement is on fire. The way that I reach out to my sphere of influence, that's on fire. So you have to understand that I want to nail all of my modalities, and you have to go into 2024 with that type of thought, because by a show of hands, how many people said that they were going to go all in on social media in January of 2023? How many people said they're going to go all in on social media in 2023? Now, how many of you actually did that? Now, I can contest to some of you actually did that, but for some you did not. Now, whatever reason that is, you need to get in identification with that, because if you're not staying consistent, if you're not doing the things that you told yourself to do, then maybe it was the wrong thing, right? Maybe it's the wrong thing. So my advice to everyone on this call as we move forward and as we grow together, don't be a liar to yourself. And I love you, right? But don't be a liar to yourself. You guys need to have absolute clarity. That's why this book here can help you understand, like, where am I going? What is my purpose? And I just need to focus on my David. That is it. So once you guys have that, it will allow you to really bring the best in all the things that you guys are doing as we move forward. So I'm going to push you guys. I'm going to test you guys. And I want you guys to do just a quick exercise. It's going to be it's going to be one line. So on a piece of paper, or if you're driving, come back and watch this later. All I want you to do is, on a piece of paper, I want you to put a line, and then I want you to put a T at the top, just like that. Something very, very simple. On the left side, I want you to write the beautiful word values, okay? When you look at your business right now, and tell me if you've ever heard this type of message. Our value when you work with the Astuto team is that we're honest, we're trustworthy, and we show up on time. Work with me. Has anybody ever heard a iteration of that type of value statement or value iteration? Has anybody ever heard of that before? Right? Okay, cool. I'm sure you've heard of even cheesier ones, right? Hi, I'm the Astuto team. Work with me because we are honest, we love our community, and blah, 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 right? So it's like, when you think about your values, and I think that you'll like this exercise, because when you think about your own personal values and what you represent in this business, we can say that my value is energy, my value is integrity, my value is making sure that I mitigate risk for all of my consumers. Okay. On the right side, now that you know what your values are, you can start to articulate that. And this is something you might come back to do as a solo person, do with your team. How does the consumer experience that value, right? How does that consumer experience that value? And are you articulating it in that way? Meaning, if I say knowledge and expertise, one of my core values as a company, how does my consumer experience? Someone needs to mute themselves because I'm getting some feedback from you. Let me see who that is. I think it's Demian. Let's go there. Okay, perfect. I got it. How does the consumer experience that value of your knowledge and expertise, right? One of our values here at Team Fast is knowledge and expertise, and how that translates to you as a consumer is that we are going to make sure that we educate you on everything that you need to know about the buying process, from how to submit the offer, from contingencies, from repairs, from reports, to understanding disclosures. It is our responsibility to make sure that we educate you on every nuance of the transaction. Is that a different feeling versus me just saying we educate and we inform, or we educate and we're our expertise? That's a value, and that value is easy for you to understand, right? It's a word that hopefully you connect with, because if you don't connect with that value, then it's not a value. If that value doesn't do something to spark your soul, then it's not a value, but that's another conversation. But the thought here is, if I write down all of my values, now, as I'm creating a better consumer relationship, as I'm creating a better bond, as I'm going further, and once again, identifying myself of how different I am from every other person out in the industry that says they're honest and trustworthy. Aren't we supposed to be honest and trustworthy? Isn't that our fiduciary duty, to be honest and trustworthy? I'm punctual. So what? You're supposed to be punctual. It's $1 million opportunity. What does my level of energy do for them in their experience, right? What does that do for their experience? What is my attention to detail, right? If that's a value, attention to detail. How does that attention to detail, how do they experience that? So that's the exercise that I want you guys to go back with and do on your own, or just write and brain dump. What are my values to my consumer right now? Do I have it on my e-signature? Do I have it on my business cards? Do I speak about it in videos, right? My values are A, B, and C. My values are this, that, and the other. Cool. All right. Tell me what's behind that and what that experience is like for the consumer. I want to pause for a minute, because I saw some people writing, I saw some people thinking. I want to get some thoughts from you guys on this conversation and some feedback. Lisette, I would love to hear from you. Aaron, you're in the room next to me. Vernon, Lisa, Ryan, I'm just looking at people and listening to you guys. I want to encourage you guys, get your fucking cameras on. I love you. Be here, be present, be in this moment. But Lisette, let's hear from you. And I didn't know baby boy had the same birthday as me. He's amazing.
He is. Y'all are amazing. He celebrated his 8th birthday yesterday.
I remember 1988 for me, but go on.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just taking everything that you're saying in, because I have a hard time with exactly what you said, just because I'm so long-winded sometimes. Like, I love to talk and I could just blah, blah, blah. So how do I shorten exactly what you just said in layman's terms, right? Not the stupid word of, knowledge. Duh, I hope you have knowledge. But what exactly does that mean? So as I was hearing you talk, I was trying to, how would I explain my knowledge, right? Because I have lending background, so I understand the money, I understand your credit. How would I mitigate risk for you? By understanding the property, the reports. Is this a good buy for you? Do you have enough savings? Are you in over your head? So I'm just taking it in and trying to figure out, how would I articulate all that?
Stay with me for a second, because you're doing it right now. Right? Like this, you're doing it right now. Right? Like, think about what you just said. Like, you're already doing it, and we're just talking about this. So imagine when we get off the screen and you start brain dumping and you start to say, okay, like, wow, I do have so much value, or this ability to form these amazing relationships. Like, you are a connector, you're a relationship builder. What does that mean? You leverage your amazing communication skills to build amazing relationships in the real estate community that will serve you when it comes time to get transparent information about what the sellers are looking for. That's how you do, because you have this amazing personality. You're a great communicator. How does that, how will they experience that? So all you have to do is know what your value is, and then ask yourself over and over and over again, how will my consumer experience that? That's it. And then write and write and write until it comes to you and be like, there it is. So Tom, I want to share with you some of the things that I hold very true to me and some of my values. One of my values, one of my team values is this. And what does that mean to you as a consumer? Well, it means that for every step of the way, I'm going to do A, B, and C. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So you're able to experience this. Oh, wow. Cool. Right? So it's like the value is the thing. The experience is what's in it for them. And I think that we all could do a really, really better job at that. And I love what you just said, because you're already thinking about it. You're already articulating it. And I think that you're right there.
Trying.
And you know what? But I don't think you're long-winded. I just think that you're expressive. I just think that you're expressive. All right, let's go Aaron Chris. Aaron Chris, thoughts on the conversation, values, and how those values are experienced by the consumers. Let's hear from you.
Well, I liked what Lizette was saying, is asking how to communicate that, because I kind of find that I feel that I mentally block myself from doing things because I find that, oh, I just sound the same, like what you were saying. Of course, I'm punctual. Of course, I want to do the right things, right? And so when I'm articulating, I'm feeling like I'm stating the obvious, and then it makes me kind of shut down a little bit. And so, I struggle with that a lot myself, just in the sense that I don't want to be stating the obvious. And I feel like sometimes when you're thinking about what your values are, a lot of them are like common sense. If you're a good person, you have empathy, you're trying to do the right thing, you're honest with the people you're working with. And so I don't know how to necessarily communicate that where it's not like, yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. It's something that they can benefit from. And I think that tends to, especially with social media and videotaping myself and doing those kind of things, I tend to shut down when I start overthinking it that way.
Yeah, and you know what? All the answers are not going to happen in this hour session. What's going to happen is that you're going to go and you're going to start connecting the dots, right? You're going to say, okay, let me really think about this. And like I said, you guys, oftentimes I'm a moderator of thought. I'm here to push you guys to think. And then I want you guys to put things into action, right? I'm always going to try to make that connection for you. But you really have to say, okay, like, how would I articulate this? And how are they going to experience that? If I'm an empathetic person, what does that mean? What that means is one of my core values is empathy, Aaron. And so what does that mean to you? That I understand at a very high level what you're going to be experiencing from start to finish throughout this transaction. You're going to go through a wave of different emotions. You might even have a little buyer remorse. You might be feeling so scared and fearful. And I understand that at a very high level. So I just want you to know that you have a partner throughout this whole entire transaction that understands and will be empathetic to all the things that you're going through. Let's go to the next phase of the buyer's consultation. Right. So, and I'm just freestyling with you, right? I'm just freestyling based off of that word, but that's how you connect it, right? Was mine perfect? No, not at all. We're just freestyling, but that's how you make that connection, right? Because if you're empathetic, that means that you're going to understand the challenges, the fear, the trepidation, the doubt, and the emotional roller coaster that they're going to go on, right? And then that's why when they submit their EMD, you're sending them over some tea, something to relax, some way to de-stress in that time, or where it's like, oh my God, I'm so fearful. I just submitted $50,000 from my bank account, right? Like, think about what they're feeling. So if you can say that you're empathetic, knowing that they're going to experience these things, share with them how they'll experience your empathy throughout that transaction, right? And I'm just wanting to, does that make sense? Are we connecting the lines there?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. I appreciate you breaking it down like that, because yes, when you say it, it comes out perfectly. Now I need to be able to work on it, record it, watch myself say it so that I have the confidence that when I'm out there articulating that, because that is a value, and it's something that I believe in.
And here's the thing, man, that part of it, don't overthink it. Same for you, Lizette. Feel it. Like, if the value should provoke a feeling within you. And then how can my consumer experience that? Right? Because the experience, I'm not thinking about that. I'm like, how's that going to make them feel? Is it going to make them feel confident, comfortable, safe, that they're cared about, that they're listened to? Is that going to happen? And I promise you, our goal is to say, how can I outwork and be better than that person next to me? If you showed up with that style, with that value, and with the direct connection to the experience that they'll have from those values, shit, man, you've already separated yourself. So let's go. I saw a couple hands up. One went down. I'll get back to that person. Let's go, Jeff. Let's go, Joellen. And then Vernon, I want you involved in this conversation. So let's go, Jeff. Look forward to seeing you, by the way, today.
Yes, sir. I'll be there. I'm glad that you said that. Sorry, I got gum in my mouth because I chew gum when I'm doing hard workouts. But I'm glad that you said that like, don't overthink it, because that's exactly what my point was about to be. All of these conversations are very fluid. So don't try to make yourself feel like, oh, you're saying the same thing that everybody else is saying by saying you're trustworthy, especially when you formulate it through the lens of the consumer by asking them, what are you looking for in an agent? Oh, you know what? I'm looking for somebody that is, trustworthy because I really don't know what I'm doing in this. Well, now you're mirroring and matching. Now, when you say, hey, you know what? I am trustworthy. Hey, I would, and then like you said, you make sure that they know what it's going to look like for them. Hey, you know what? I'm trustworthy. And how I show that is I would rather lose your business off telling you the truth than gain your business off telling you a lie. Hey, I'm empathetic. Hey, I'm your nightlight through this transaction. And I'm going to be the one that you can lean on. I'm your boxing coach in your corner that's going to tell you how to go back out there and put the strategy together. So sometimes these things that we think are the simplest and, oh, well, they should already know that. They'll already know that. It's okay to articulate it in that manner, especially when you're mirroring and matching what the consumer needs from you, because then you're connecting on a deeper level with them. It makes them feel heard, but it also puts you in a light of an expert. So sometimes that's why I want to say, like, these conversations are fluid. It doesn't have to always be like when you're articulating on video, maybe you go through a different channel and a different way of saying it so that it does reach the masses. But when you're one-on-one with that person, keywords like empathy, trust, timely, honest, all those things, those mean a lot to us because they've been anchored to us since we were little kids. No one liked to be lied to when they were a little kid. So trustworthy means something to us. No one liked to have somebody not feel like they heard them. So empathy means something to us. So it's okay to articulate these simple words when you're connecting one-on-one with a person, because at the end of the day, that other person is still a human and there's still that NLP, that connection of that deeper level there.
I mean, incredibly said, that's why I'm so glad that you guys get involved in this conversation, because it might not be something that I said, Aaron. It might be something that Blessing said. It might be something that Jeff said. It might be something that Verna and Lisette said. That's why the collective wisdom is so important, because I'm thinking about it like this. Like, I represent lighthouse values. What the hell is lighthouse values? It is my job to be your guide, to be your beacon, to help you weather the storm, to be your true north, to make sure. So it's like, if I think about values as a lighthouse, well, what is the experience of the lighthouse for the consumer, right? That lighthouse is all things to lead me into a safe place. That's what a lighthouse is. Here's the shore. Here's the shore. Here's the shore. They're out on sea, and out on sea, it's bumpy, and they just submitted their EMD, and now there are contingencies, and oh my God, there's something wrong with the home, and all these things. But your values are wrapped up in the lighthouse. So if you have that lighthouse mentality, what is the experience of the lighthouse for a consumer? And I'm just thinking about this because I'm like you, Aaron. I'm like Lisette as well. I try to find things like, how can I put this across in a way that people can understand that. So Aaron, good stuff. Jeff, fire. Joanne, let's hear from you. And then Vernon, I'll go to you. And then we're going to start wrap.
Yeah, so my values act as a guiding anchor in the real estate services. So the anchor is my thing. But no, I took some recent reviews from different clients and I threw it into Chat GPT and asked them to find my values based on these reviews. And it basically gave me integrity, genuine care, anchor point, and then it starts talking about the different things: collaboration, professionalism, efficiency, client-centered approach. So basically it just talks about every little thing like you were saying, and then you can go from there for your values. So yeah.
Smart. And listen, you guys, if and I love the use of ChatGPT for this. If you're not aligned with it, if a value is not like lighting you up and it's not like emotionally doing something for you, it's not a value. It's not a value. It's not a value, like, right? It's like someone said, ooh, loyalty is everything, but then they go on fucking business trips and drink with all the guys and hook up with some fucking random chick. That's not fucking loyalty. You're not staying true to that shit, right? You're not staying true to that, oh, loyalty, but you pull back the veil and you're the drunk dude at the fucking bar. Nah, that's not loyalty, right? It's not loyalty. So Vernon, let's hear from you. And Joanne, love the use of ChatGPT. Let's go, Vernon.
Yeah, man, my takeaways are simple. For me, it's about speaking, and as it relates to values, speaking confidently from an authentic space, right? So don't be afraid to toot your own horn, if you will. Don't be afraid to speak to what makes you unique. Oftentimes we have a fear that's associated with talking about ourselves. We feel like it's braggadocious, it's doing too much. But in this world, speaking confidently about yourself and who you are and what separates you is not braggadocious. It is what it is. And we are all unique individuals who are composed of unique attributes. We'll speak to that in a very authentic yet confident way. That's my takeaway.
Good God. Actually, I'm looking at my notes, and I literally just wrote this down earlier. When you think about, let's just have the content conversation here, and I won't spend too much time on this one because I can go off on content. When you think about content, I'd say about 7-8 months ago, I started leaning into text on screen, and many of you now do text on screen. Where did I learn text on screen from? I learned it from Lauren Taylor, and she's like, how can I get the biggest reach, highest impact with me not saying anything? I was like, nah, that's not going to work. And that shit works. It worked. And it worked at a very high level. Well, when you think about like certain scripts, certain trends, like text on screen or check the captions down below, like people start to see through that. And what I mean by that is people will start to catch on, be like, okay, I'm starting to see this at multiple people, right? And so what happens is that now, early on, you isolated yourself as this person that was completely different in that space. Now what happens, and now that we're sharing scripts, that people are doing the same scripts, I get that and I understand that. Here's what needs to happen in 2024 and beyond. I'm a person that just who I am, and I'm not going to knock anybody for doing it. I've never read a script. If I can't say something within 1 minute and 20 seconds without looking at paper and without having it be from someone else or a monitor, then it's not the right thing for me. So what I want to encourage everybody to look at in 2024 is that how much of me is in that messaging. Do they know that Vernon's a coach of Little League? Do they know that he ran for city council and he lost by a couple hundred votes? Right? Do they know who I am, that I have a 67 bug, that I love my Vespa? Do they know that I collect records? Do they know the human side of you? Because that personal touch, that personalization is going to be more, you guys, it's going to be more important than it ever has been in the coming months. So you're pointing, Vernon. So something hit. You agree with something? You guys, so lean into that and don't be afraid of that, right? Don't be afraid to for example, Damian put his daughter on camera and that video blew up, right? Otis having baby boy laying in bed with you. Like, these are things that, like, I can't remember the last, I can think of some, but like most recently, the shit that I remember about Otis is laying with baby boy and he's like, hugging his son, right? That's things that I remember. And so think about that, you guys. I was telling George Martinez, great example. So George Martinez has been doing what with his videos? Who can say what George has been doing at a high level with videos? What does he do every single week? No, not how he does. What does he do? Anybody just take themselves off of it.
Property tours.
Property tours.
Property tours. Yep.
Property tours. Okay. Now, are other people emulating that style of property tours? Are other people saying, here's what you can get for 1.2 million in the state or city of Concord? Are you seeing more of that? So now, what is the evolution of something that he had coined of being totally different? But now it's like, okay, bro, you got to evolve from that. So how do you evolve from that? What's up, you guys? Hey, I am here in the city of Lafayette, and I want to take you on a quick tour of this brand new small business that just opened up last week. It is called Tellus, and I'm going to share with you. And also, I want you to meet a couple people at this beautiful restaurant. That's evolution for him. That's evolution for him, right? So you take the same mentality of, hey guys, what's up? I'm here at 123 Main Street. Let me show you this $1.3 million home in the city of ABC. What's up, you guys? Hey, I'm going to do a small business spotlight. Let's go check out this cute little quaint place. And so you take that into the things that you're doing inside of the community, right? Like today, I'm in Brentwood. You guys go to the office. You guys are doing all these things. So you have to think about, like, I set a trend. Now that trend might be washed out a little bit because more and more people are doing it. Now, what is the evolution and next step for you? right? What's that next step look like for you guys? Because what happens is that now you're just doing what everyone else is doing. And hey, congratulations for being consistent with content, but now you have to say, what's next? What's next for your game? Otis, you had your hand up, big dog, and then we'll start to go full circle. You don't have your audio hooked up. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. All right, fix that, and then I'll come back to you. Kaleem, what's up, big dog?
Good morning, everybody. First of all, the book you said is currently on 49% off on Audible. I just checked. And I do want to share a success story from what we did 4 weeks ago. You had suggested us to start doing, stop doing, and keep doing. So I've been doing that on regular basis. And I was working on this one of the deal, which almost fell through. And with the rates and having a jumbo loan, the client almost had given up, but I do have a 15-year of banking background. So I did talk to the client every day. I did not give up. I start thinking new ways. And I was talking to his brother in Colombia every day, and we end up taking equity out of his house. And now I'll be closing a biggest deal of my life, 2.8 million next week.
Let's go, big dog.
So that's by start doing, because I did not give up. The client, he kind of overdid it, buying this house with upgrades, and Toll Brothers were not giving them any discounts, but I was able to get them the city transfer discounts and everything. And I am just very, very thrilled today that when I heard that this morning, even though I'm under the weather, I woke up like 5 a.m. to talk to the guy in Colombia. He said they already got the line of credit approved, the money is being transferred, and we will be closing. And also thanks to Ashley, she did help me with it a little bit, because she has a backup plan if they cannot close that deal. Ashley really stick her neck out and help me with that. Thank you so much.
Yes, my man. Dinner on you. I love this. Thank you. Congratulations, Kaleem. Let's go, O-Dog, one more time. Let's check your audio. Hopefully it is coming through. And what's your contribution? No, we don't hear anything, bro. Say it one more time. Check. Nah, bro, we don't have it. But I know everything that you were going to say was going to be fire. So here's the thing, you guys. We are in December 1. For if you are on the team, you're going to have something to do every single day in regards to marketing. If you don't want to do those things, it's okay. What I want you to do is I want you to unpack all the things that you are going to launch this month. It is the holiday messages. It's the Christmas cards. It's Kwanzaa. It is, Hanukkah. It is getting ready for the new year. All the things, you guys, like you guys can really go full tilt over the next couple of weeks. So you have to make a choice. What am I going to do? Why am I doing it? When's it going out? And just go do it. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to get too crazy with it. You literally can do organic outreach right now for this next month and have some fun with it. And if you're reaching for things to do every day and you don't know, just check your phone every single day from us and I'll give you the prompt. I spent the time to give you guys the prompts to hopefully you guys will just take the action on it, and that's it. So let's try one more time, Otis, because I have a meeting right at 9:30.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
I had to turn this shit off. I just want to say thank you. I mean, everybody sees me. I'm always with my son. This week was kind of challenging because daycare was closed all week. But don't take it for granted. Christina talked about being a workaholic, and back in June when I was doing really well, I was neglecting my son a lot, and I can tell his behavior started getting really bad. He wasn't listening. I mean, he still doesn't really listen, but I mean, he was just being bad, and he was really navigating towards his mom, and I mean, not that it matters that much, but I could feel like we were disconnected. So the days that I can get with him, where I'm with him, I just love on him and kiss him 1,000 times. We can get lost and transparent like this, and your kids will fall behind in your love. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that drive me. So don't forget to make sure that you separate business and home, because it can be very effective. And from one father to another, I know you love when you take your son. So us dads got to keep pushing that bar. And so thank you for highlighting that. I really appreciate that, Elias.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. So you guys, we're not going to do group coaching next Friday, but I would like to still see you guys. So at 8:30 next Friday, I want to do the hike around Lake Chabot. It's right around 6.5 miles. We'll meet right there in the main parking lot at 8:30, right at the start of normal time of coaching. And we'll do that 6-mile hike, and we'll do some team building. We'll out there have some fun, bring our water. It gets challenging at one part of it. For the most part, it's a walk that most people can do. So I'll put the information out in internal communication, in Slack, and as well as an email. But if you'd like to join me, I would love for you guys to join me. It won't be as intense as Mission Peak. I promise you. That shit was intense. That shit's crazy. It's not for everybody. But if you want to do Lake Chabot with me next week, more information to come on that. And last but not least, you guys, when we talk about this whole idea of Michelangelo and being a student, about 2 years and 6 months and 2 years and 4 months ago, I got invited to go to a mastermind. I didn't know who this guy was. They said, oh, you're going to go to this guy named Chet Black's house. Okay. This is right as Chet Black started to really build and blow up, and mad respect for what he's been able to create. And I sat in this living room, and there was 40 people in this living room in Las Vegas at Chet Black's house. And I was like, everything, I'm taking notes. I'm like, cool. Like, I'm diving in, and I just really dove into studying coaching, being a part of coaching, reading books. How can I deliver a message better? What are thought tracks? How can I push them to be their optimal selves? And so had a really huge impact on me. And so to come full circle to blessing, like, you never know, like when it's going to pop off. He called me the other day, and he's like, hey, I got an opportunity for you. And I said, hey, man, I'm part of another coaching program. He's like, there's enough for everyone. He's like, I'm going to ask for if you could be a speaker at one of my events. And I'm saying this not to brag in any way, shape, or form, but it's that I've been a student. And I sat in his living room, and I was so inspired by him. I said, I'm going to be a student of this game so I can be the best for them. And I'm going to pour into them. And the fact that he's asking me to speak at an event, and we have rivaling coaching companies, it's an honor. It's an honor. So that is not public yet. It's coming out very soon. But in March, I'll be in Tennessee with the Chet Black crew doing my thing, speaking about what we do. So I'm very excited. So anything's possible, you guys. Anything's possible. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Hopefully we can get together next Friday for our hike. But in the meantime, have an amazing weekend. And as always, keep it moving toward your dreams, goals, and vision. Peace.